on Tokyo Expressway here for the penultimate round of this championship. So we got a spicy one for you here today. Just going to go ahead and talk to you about a little bit of the track. But before I do that, in the commentary booth with me is Lusion. How are you today, good sir?
I'm good, and oh my, it's raining in Tokyo today. This is going to be extremely interesting with the weather turning to be wet for SWT, which was dry for WC, so this is just going to be a completely different race than what we saw last week.
Yeah, last week we had such an intense battle. I mean, pretty much you guys up at the front were always just battling it out constantly, jockeying for position, and there's so many good spots to overtake on this track. And with this track having a bit of a dry patch, it's going to be really going to be peculiar, the strategies, because unlike most tracks when it's wet, you have a massive dry patch 24/7 under the Expressway itself. I mean, it's a very fun track. And also we see Nuko saying that the intermediates are faster if you do avoid the puddles, which, I mean, considering the rain today, there's going to be a ton of puddles. It's a 7.192 kilometer long circuit, 4.4 miles around, 12 turns. High speed balancer performance. Granted, we don't run balancer performance, but this is a high speed track. And it's got a really short pit time if you're just doing tires, only about 13.5 seconds.
Yeah, super quick pit stop here, and as Nuko said, this is a intermediate weather. But if you notice on the track, there's like huge puddles going on everywhere, and the car is almost going to jump when it hit that puddles. If you use the wet tires, not going to be a problem. With the intermediates, though, it's going to be kind of a scary one when you're crossing those puddles up, because this is a highway road, and it has, I'm not sure what to call it, but it has this kind of plates that are connected, and when each time there's a new plate, there seems to be sometimes a large puddle going on. So it's definitely going to be scary. But right now you can see it's a intermediate conditions, and it's pretty much almost flat out even with intermediates on this track.
Indeed, and as you can see, the weather radar showing you earlier, it was green for quite a while before we got started here in the session. The track does appear to be drying out though a bit ahead of qualifying, so take a look at the radar now. There is actually no more rain on the radar, at least in a 100-mile radius, at least coming in the direction of the track. All the rain right now is headed northwest, so that's going to be an interesting thing to note. So we may start off wet, but we may finish off with slicks. Now, I know with the World Elite Championship that had their penultimate round here last week, we know that rain was always kind of a question mark, but it never really truly hit. So it's going to be really interesting to see how the strategy plays out today.
Yeah, so this is a completely different race. For the last race, we found out pretty quickly that it's not going to rain. It's waiting for the rain, but here it's more kind of waiting for the track to dry, or it might rain again. But it's more of a race of when do you put on the slicks and how early can you put on the slicks. I mean, if you haven't studied the track drying out, it's going to be a huge gamble being on the softs. But I reckon if it's been heavy raining, it's going to be about 8, 9, 10 laps before they should put on the softs. And right now, so when the qualifying restarts, I mean, the weather is going to restart again, so it's definitely going to rain for qualifying and then dry out. So this is going to be a hugely interesting qualifying. And definitely a race start as well.
Oh yeah, 100%. Because there's some drivers that tend to really thrive in the wet conditions that we're experiencing here. But there's other drivers, and I would beckon to say a lot of drivers absolutely hate these conditions. So there's some drivers that are wet weather merchants, as I have learned to call them. But I mean, granted, I do not see myself as one of these wet weather merchants, although I do like wet races. Just because I like them doesn't mean I'm particularly good at them, but I think it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be it's really gonna show who is adaptable, because I feel like the name of the game for today's race and today's entire session is gonna be adaptability.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, if you haven't practiced with this kind of conditions, it's going to be very sketchy to be on track. But I'm pretty sure mostly have practiced with different kind of conditions. Maybe setting some lobbies with heavy rain just to make sure they have a feel for that. But yeah, I think for qualifying it's going to be super tight, as it was in WC. But more now, it's more of maybe setting the lap as late as possible to get the most out of the track when it's drying out. But you know, for the race start as well, it's going to be rain. I think we saw some heavy rain when I entered the lobby, so definitely some sort of a rainy conditions. So turn one going in there after a long straight is going to be interesting.
Yeah, I mean, this track is probably the most popular out of the tracks that were introduced in GT Sport. Although granted, Tokyo Expressway in some form or fashion has been around Gran Turismo for quite a while, but this specific layout and this specific interpretation of Tokyo Expressway is new since Gran Turismo Sport, but pretty much ever since then, this has probably been one of the most popular tracks for both casual and competitive. Because I know in 2020, I think it was last year, 2024, the Race of Champions for Gran Turismo was held on this track, although I think they went in the opposite direction of what we're going with. But, I mean, this particular layout is the most popular layout of this track. And without any further ado, qualifying is a go, and it is a pouring rain out there. It looks like Florida in the middle of summer.
Yeah, it's kind of shame we can't see the exact weather going on right now, but the drivers can, and we'll see when they hit track if it's fully wet. Oh yeah, it's definitely fully wet. So these kind of first laps are not really going to count almost for the laps, because the track is going to drive me. So Takitono will be on the softs there. He found out the hard way. So yeah, I think the first kind of laps is just getting a feel, and then as we saw in the practice session, that the track is going to be more and more dry. So that's where we're going to see the qualifying laps. So this is going to be very difficult to predict, I think.
Yeah, once again, it's going to be the driver that kind of can adapt to these situations the best. What drivers can adapt to these changing weather conditions here. I mean, here's the thing too, is not just the rain that these drivers have to really worry about. The wind is pretty strong here today, and there's a pretty nasty tailwind, especially coming into the final hairpin, or the final two corners. I mean, this is going to be really dicey in some parts of the track, on top of the fact that it is just bucketing down rain. But I 100% agree with what you said. It's going to be really a test of who can go ahead and maximize these conditions and who can not spin it, as we just seen from Keminger there. Keminger taking a little bit of a spin. Unfortunate there. And oh wow, as the final frame before we got the replay going, we did see a little bit of a drift from, I believe that was Artura. So yeah, looking again at the replay, let's see what just happened. Oh, he just gave it too much throttle, and he already had damage to begin with, so luckily with SWT it is only light damage, so it's not going to hurt him a whole lot in the long run like it would for WEC.
Yeah, and luckily we had dry conditions, but and holy shit, that's a huge spider. Oh my god, I just have this biggest spider crawling around me. That's disgusting.
Apologies to anyone in chat who might have arachnophobia. Yeah, actually, funny enough, speaking of insects and stuff, earlier when I was commentating for an F1 league around Singapore,
okay, it's dead.
I was fighting with a mosquito during commentary, so that was fun. And I recently went camping to look at some apartments, and I probably got I got so many mosquito bites. Like, it looks like I have measles.
I mean, I live in Norway, cold Norway, and you're in Florida, and I'm the guy with fighting creepy animals. That's
Sounds
unlucky.
like you're trying to compete for Australia's job of deal with giant spiders on the daily.
And that was huge. Like that was like almost my palm. Not that big, but if you remove the fingers and just have the entire palm, that's kind of how big it was with the legs. So that was huge, disgusting. Okay.
R.I.P. to anyone who has arachnophobia in chat. I do apologize, but anyways, back to the stuff you guys actually care about. Unless there are some of you who are really into anthropology. I think that's the field of science that deals with bugs. My girlfriend wanted to be an anthropologist at one point, so I think that's correct. She'll crucify me later if it's wrong, but we are down to about a little under halfway, but we haven't really seen a lot of times hit the board yet, despite the fact that the session is, it's almost halfway done, and we're just now seeing these first times here. So these first few laps were definitely exploration laps, and to see if the wet or intermediate tire was going to be go-to. Right now the wets are seeming to be the go-to tire for this session, but we do see some drivers running down those intermediates, and as we said earlier, the intermediates can be fast around this track, but you got to really deal with the puddles. You got to really learn how to navigate those puddles.
Yeah, I think I saw Alex commentating the wets are better now. I disagree. For now and onwards, the intermediates are the best tires. As soon as that kind of blue layer on, you see the conditions all the way to the left next to the tires. You see how wet the track is. When that kind of has a blue layer on top, that means it's heavy wet. So right now, it's below that bar, and then now it's intermediates, and it will be for a long time.
Yeah, the way I kind of like to interpret that, the track wetness meter or the track moisture meter, whatever you would like to call it, is that like if you're in that middle ground, you're firmly into Inter's territory, and you might want to consider switching over to the wets, but you really don't need the wets until you see that blue on that meter on the bottom left hand side of your screen, as we are on board now with Arturo to see where he's going to go ahead and set his first official flyer. He is currently 4 seconds ahead, almost 5 seconds ahead of his previous time. So it's not going to be enough for a pole position, but it's going to be still a mighty competitive time here on those intermediates. He's about to come across the line now, and he's going to be up to P3. He'll be up on the second row, but he is the fastest of the Inters.
Yeah, I think we'll see the lap time dropping right now, and also the wind is kind of similar what it was for WC, with the headwind going into the kind of the scary section with all the fast corners, and I think that's a big positive for this race. If that was tailwind, that would be extremely difficult to try to stay close there.
Yeah, I mean, although luckily it's looking like that the wind has actually kind of eased up a bit. Schulte, I didn't even notice this one, but Schulte just came out of left field and got a pole position time. But yeah, like you said, these times are really going to start falling down, because it doesn't even look like the rain. Well, the rain has definitely eased up, at least a little bit, if not entirely. So yeah, the Inters are definitely the tire now.
It has stopped. The rain has stopped. Now it's more. It's just the remains of the rain staying on track. But I'm kind of surprised that Jay Schulze and Otora is pitting after they set a lap, because you want to keep that temperature going, staying in that compound, instead of pitting and putting on a new compound. Then they have to heat it up again. So that was a bit surprising, but as for now, it's working for Jay Schulze. He has 1.5 second gap to Brando, but probably going to see those intervals. I mean, the lap times coming down.
Yeah, indeed. Although I think the main reason why he switched, because I'm pretty sure that lap he set was on a wet tire compound, and now he's on the intermediates. And this track is definitely intermediate weather, but I'm seeing on my screen that Killswitch, while he's still in the pits, he is on a soft tire. So maybe we might see the other high caliber driver just risk it on the soft tire to try to get as many points as he can, or at least to get the best qualifying that he can ahead of today's race.
We see Brandon get a good slipstream there from Name, a boy Grand, and setting him a 140.3. So for right now, I mean, the intermediates are really fast. They're only about than Slick's in perfect.
Are these top parts of the grid go ahead and just shock us? Like if we say take a look at Killswitch here. Killswitch isn't a driver we have usually seen towards the top of the qualifying times. It's usually been the Kaizen Motorsports drivers and the Kaizen drivers, but Killswitch, he's on that soft tire compound at the moment, but I think he just went a bit deep, and he's definitely got damage on that front left suspension and the front wing. So maybe, I mean, it's probably...
It's way too early.
Yeah.
It's way too early.
I mean, probably, if you max out your traction control, you might be able to survive on this, but still, you're going to lose just so much time, especially corner exit due to the intermediates.
Looks like we got company there from your dear friend.
Yep, that is the unofficial co-commentator of GPL. His name is Peeps. It is the bright yellow parakeet. He popped in he likes to pop in during SWT, notably, I found out.
Some more action there, it seems.
Which is, I mean, that's saying something compared to what we had previously.
We got Dakidono now on a purple lap, and I think this is probably going to be the last lap for a lot of people. If you got anyone crossing the line, we got Brando has one more lap, Jay got one more lap, and Tora is finished. So yeah, everything can change for this last lap here. We can see I'm on board with Dakidono here, and now he can just nail the corners almost flat out, even with intermediates and the wet track. But he's running out of overtake, so that's that's gonna pay dividend in the. I mean, it's gonna be painful if we're going on a straight. We got Brando has a lot of overtake. I think my guess is that Brando gonna grab pole here in the end if he just keeps the car on track or avoids the walls. I mean.
Yeah, I mean, the big key here is you got to find your groove and stay in it. And in this case, you want to be on the part of the track with the most rubber. So at this point, he's really got to try to avoid these puddles and stay on the dark tarmac or the dark asphalt of this track. And now he got very close to the wall there, but now he's going to put pedal to the metal. He's going to gun it.
Oh, it's close.
It's purple. It's going to be so close.
He's lost some time. He was almost 2/10 up before the corner, so this is going to be tight.
Yeah, we'll have to see. It is a 139.685 to get it. No, it's not going to be it.
It's not going to make it.
Oh, he did get it.
He did get it. That was... Wow. It looks it looked like it wasn't... Yeah, it did.
Yeah, I thought that was off. That's unfortunate. If your name is Dakadana, but very fortunate if your name is B23. But here's the thing, it is really hard to keep that pole position around this track, so we're gonna really see how this is gonna play out for all these drivers. As we do have another driver still on the lap, it is your boy Grand. He's got a minute left to go, but he's just about to do the start finish straight. He does do a bit of a slide, so he's gonna lose time. Actually, that's an out lap, so he's done. So yeah, actually, qualifying is done and dusted with our 7 drivers today.
And unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to stick around for the whole race, as I have my own race going off in 30 minutes. I got some stuff I need to take care of. But I will be here for definitely for lap 1 and lap 2, just catch the entertainment.
Alright, that is perfectly okie dokie, and as always, I do wish you the best of luck in your race coming up. And speaking of races, let's go and take a look at the starting position for these drivers on today's grid. B23 takes a pole position by just a little over a tenth, and then Dacadono leads from Chemazure, which is a driver we don't usually see this high up. And I mean, I know for this Hololive Racing team, they are ecstatic to have a second row lockout for the team with himself and your boy Grand. And then we have Schulte and Killswitch locking out the third row. And then the driver at the very back of the grid is Artura, aka Nemesis. So it's going to be a very spicy grid to start today's race, even though we don't have that many drivers actually out on track today. But, I mean, we've had some pretty good races with less drivers. So I think today is still going to be a lot of fun, just considering how competitive it is here and how close the championship is to wrapping up. So I think there's all to play for here.
Yeah, and keep in mind we have that drop round score, so even though there's some key drivers they're missing, for the drivers championship everything can still be on play going into the last round. And I have some messages from the Kaizen Motorsports team that they're going to be back for Brazil, where we're going to have a reverse grid and a main race.
Yeah, that should be really exciting. I mean, Interlagos in general, we were there earlier on during the preseason for the last chance qualifiers, so we can see who goes to SWT and who gets to WEC. We hit both of them, so it's always really good to, I'm sure that's not really a hot take by any stretch, but Abu Dhabi's just not a fun track. It's not fun to watch, not fun to drive on. The only entertaining race I've seen on Abu Dhabi was 2021, and that was mostly just drama versus actual entertainment.
For sure, and I mean, Interlagos, it has all the history and the the prestige of racing it in Brazil, compared to Abu Dhabi, which is a fairly new track, I think, 10 years, 15 years ago now.
Yeah, roughly. It's one of the newer tracks on the calendar. I did ask this previously, but I think it was on the last stream I did or no, it wasn't the last stream. It was a different Gran Turismo stream, but how do you feel about the Madrid, or the new street circuit that's coming to Spain for next season? Did you watch the actual lap video that they had of the track?
I have not seen that. I heard the rumors, but I'm not surprised they're gonna put in another city track into the calendar. But that stretches out the calendar even to 24, 25 races, or are they going to replace it?
I think they're replacing Barcelona. I think. I know Spa is on rotation now, so Spa is going to be missing for 2028 and 2030, but I know it's just on a rotation. Although I think Zandvoort is leaving the calendar from after this year.
True.
So, and actually, speaking of Zandvoort, the track has a little bit of Zandvoort in it. It kind of feels like it feels like if you mixed Miami, Zandvoort, and a little bit of Baku, but not a whole lot of Baku. So mostly just if you mixed Miami and Zandvoort together, you kind of got this track. This new Madrid, as that's the official name of it now.
I'm gonna have a look.
It's on Instagram. Their actual Instagram page has it.
Yeah. I can see that it's part of the city, and then it goes off to what seems as a construction site right now or something, and then they're probably going to build a track on top of that. Because I see they have the big hairpin, which kind of probably reminds you of the Sandward. That what you mean?
Yeah, because it's got a lot of banking.
Yeah, okay, it's banked. Okay, and for the city part, it reminds me of Baku actually.
Yeah, I knew I saw a little bit of Baku in there, but yeah, I think it's got potential. I mean, I think it's good that they're coming in the regulation cycle with smaller cars compared to the kind of behemoths that we have now. But I honestly think that race would have been a procession if it was with this kart regulation of cars. But since it's with the newer regulation that's a bit smaller, I think it should be decent. But I mean, then again, everybody was saying Vegas was going to be awful, but look how that turned out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's quickly become a fan favorite, I think.
Yeah, I mean, at least I don't know if I call it a fan favorite, but it's got pretty high regards. It's probably the second favorite out of the American tracks. I still think Coda is the fan favorite for American tracks. And speaking of fan favorite tracks, we're about to get live racing at a fan favorite track in Gran Turismo, as we're about to go through 21 laps of Tokyo Expressway east counterclockwise. We'll take you from start to finish, and it is gonna be a blast. Alright, we're just gonna go and wait for those 5 red lights to come on, and then we're taking over the streets of Tokyo, doing a little bit of street racing here. 3, 2, 1. And it's lights out and away we go. It is a fantastic getaway from a lot of these drivers now. Although my timing table is a tad bugged, it is saying that your boy Grant is in first place.
Cam had a good start.
Cam did have a very good start.
They're all on inters. Let's see how they deal with turn one. Oh, maybe boy Grant is almost touching his teammate there.
Yeah, going very deep, very deep there. But they did both make up a position off of B23, and oh, that's a bit of a wiggle there from the American driver. Just a tad bit of a wiggle, yeah. So he is struggling in the early stages of this race, but the Hololive Racing team.
Now.
Yeah, I was just about to comment on that. Hololive is 1 and 2 at the moment, and this would easily be the best finish of the entire season for them, and it would definitely help them out in the standings. But too soon.
That's damage.
Yep,
for Kemazura.
Kemazura does have damage.
And Brando picks up a spot. We got Namey Boy Grand now, almost having a second gap to Brando. And for Kem, luckily the damage can repair itself. But right now it's difficult conditions being on the inters. Just trying to avoid the walls, not getting damage, as you see Autora having damage as well. And Killfish having a bit of a moment there.
Yeah, your boy Gran.
Boy Gran.
He had a bit of a moment
right now.
He had a bit of a wiggle there, but he came out of it perfectly fine. This has been a fantastic start for the Thai driver.
He's running higher downforce, I can tell from the time gas, I think. I think he's running a bit higher downforce than Brando.
Which would help, which is going to kind of hurt him on this massive straight, but in these current weather conditions, as overtake usage is now available to these drivers, I think it's going to help in some of these corners, but also in the current weather conditions. It's going to keep that car more glued to the track now as we watch the Thai driver, but he goes a bit wide, but he cuts it back in.
Having a good exit there.
A very good exit. And that is purple sectors to the surprise of no one because it is
has a moment, hits the wall there. He's P7 right now, having front wing damage and suspension damage, it seems.
Yeah, let's take a look at that on the replay. Let's see what happened there. He's going to come through. Let's see what happens. I wonder if he just lost it. Oh, yep, sure enough, he just lost it. Too much on the throttle, and that was all she wrote.
Almost 2-second gap now for Namey Boy. You can see how much the high downforce setup which he's probably running, helps. He's gaining several tenths. I mean 10th maybe each corner right now, having 2 seconds gap down to Brando.
Yeah,
but when the track dries out, he's gonna struggle to keep him behind. We'll see how much of a gap he can pull from Brando right now.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's probably his strategy at the moment, is that your boy Grant wants to maximize the gap that he can pull while it is raining, and so that at that point he can just really, even though he's going to be a bit slower when it comes to the dry tires, he'll have such a big gap that's not even really going to matter, because he's just going to be so far ahead that even if B23 starts really catching up, it's just going to be too little too late.
Yep. And unfortunately, I gotta leave you guys. I got my own race starting in 30 minutes, which I am going to stream. So when you're finished watching SWT, you can jump onto Illusion at YouTube, and I'll be streaming a domestic championship race.
Alright, yes, you heard the man, everyone. Go check out his YouTube channel once we're done here with SWT. Best of luck to you, Illusion. Hope you have a good time and also good result. And we will see you on the next stream.
Yep, later guys, later.
Alright, so that was Illusion, ladies and gentlemen. Very fancy room for air. You make one mistake and somebody's going to be right up your gearbox. And basically no time at all. So, we did have someone join the room, but I think they're a WEC driver. But if they are SWT, then unfortunately they're too little too late, as this race has already kicked off and been underway for some time now. We are on lap now 4 of 21. As we did see Nico leaving the session. Unfortunately, he was a bit too late if he wanted to get a race in today, but we still have a race going on as Artura now shooting past B23 into P2 now. And this has just not been the race that B23 would have wanted. But luckily for him, most of his main championship rivals are just not in this race. The Kaiser Motorsports drivers and his teammate are not here. So, I mean, he's going to get a healthy amount of points regardless of just... I mean, he's not going to lose any points to any of his rivals because all 3 of his primary rivals are just not here today. They'll be back for the final round at Interlagos 2 weeks from now. And it will be our final sprint weekend, and then that is the end of the season, and we take a break from Super Formula here for a tad. Yeah, I know we have some exciting stuff in the pipeline. So hopefully you guys will stick around for that. If you guys are brand new here, make sure you guys drop a like and subscribe. And hopefully we will see you guys around more often. But we're not going anywhere yet. We still have quite a lot of racing to do. Go ahead and read through some comments real quick. It's awesome to see you guys having some good chat. And let's go ahead. Although, unfortunately, we can go ahead and take a look at the radar very, very quickly. Although, unfortunately, it is only going to give you about 60 minutes in the past. And then it'll get to current time. So we'll see. It is still, at least according to this radar, it is still in the green a bit. We'll see what it's going to look like during current time. I wonder if it's going to be similar to what we had in qualifying. Yeah, so the track is going to go and start drying out here very, very soon. As your boy Grant still leads this race ahead of B23. And it looks like Kamajura is actually having a pretty solid race here. Oh, a little bit of contact between Artura and Kamajura there. Just a wee bit of contact. I don't think there's any damage on either car. But that is going to allow B23 to kind of slingshot ahead. So, yeah, let's just see how this one plays out here, ladies and gentlemen. Just taking a look back at our drivers, and, I mean, so far, I mean, there's going to be some drivers that do tend to struggle a bit in the rain, and from the looks of things, Ducadono might be one of those drivers. And no worries, Alex. It is something good to always talk about, so I don't mind getting that information for you. But also, the wind has kind of slowed down here from what we had at the start of qualifying. Not by a significant amount, but it is slowed down by about 1.5 feet per second. But we are seeing Ducadono setting purple sectors now. So that might be an indication that this track is seriously drying up. I mean, it is a street circuit, so we know that the track is going to dry out a little bit quicker than some of the other purpose-built circuits that we head to throughout the season. But yeah, and actually, your boy Grant has really pulled away. The high downforce setup allowing him to full throttle through corners. But he does lose time here on this straight. He does set a fastest lap of the race. See, B23 can counter. No, he cannot counter at the moment. He is still about 0.2 off. And I mean, he is going to catch your boy Grant a little bit during this portion of the track, but not by a significant amount. He's going to once again really start losing him in these corners. And he just gets a bit more stability on this track, especially because of the higher downforce. Yeah, he gained quite a few tenths in that corner alone. So these corners are really going to benefit him. But yeah, your boy Grand, I know his objective is to get as far ahead as humanly possible right now. And then when it switches up, then he'll just kind of reap the rewards of being super far ahead. But the question in chat, yeah, it's going to be interesting because, I mean, it's really working out in these wet conditions, but soon it's really going to be a slick tire race. And, I mean, it's a matter of when versus a matter of if at this point, just because we know we could see the very vivid, lack thereof, dry patch on this track. Now, if your boy Grand wants to go ahead and try to keep these tires on, he can go on the wet sections of the track to try to cool off these inters, but I think it's Yeah, I agree with chat. I think it's basically slick weather now. Because typically the way that you can really interpret it is if it's like in the second line, then it's going to be definitely intermediate. Same with the upper half of the first line or the bottom line. But if you're in that low half, like if you're half a bar, then yeah, slicks are definitely the go-to, especially if it's not picking up. Obviously, if you're in that third bar, you definitely want wets, but I think this is going to be a slick track, and we're seeing a lot of drivers now go into the pits for these slick tires now. So we got B23 on the mediums. We have, looks like all of these drivers have actually went to the mediums. The only drivers still out on those inters are the two Hololive Racing drivers and the high caliber driver. So yeah, and I think the mediums are the right choice because you could probably carry these mediums almost to the end, if not all the way to the end, especially with some really good tire management. And even on the straights, now granted you get nowhere near the amount of grip as the inters or wets do on that wet part of the track. On that massive straightaway, you're really going to have a good chance to cool off those tires, at least for a few laps until those parts get rubbered in as well. But you can really cool off your tires and extend the life of these tires just from running through a few puddles here and there on straights. Wouldn't recommend it for corners because you're going to become a Super Formula Beyblade, but I do see some people saying that softs could work possibly, but softs are kind of an iffy one when it comes to this stage of the race. Now, if we were down to about 7 laps left of this race instead of being on lap 7 out of 21 or officially around at the 1/3 mark of the race, then yeah, soft tires would obviously be the go-to as we see your boy Graham make a pit stop. But one thing to notice is the pit stop on this track is pretty quick. And we see your boy Grant here running on the softs, but yeah, using those soft tires, I mean, he's going to have the most grip, and he's really going to benefit from the high downforce setup, but I wonder if, because, I mean, obviously diminishing returns are going to be a thing, you know, as Newton's third law states, every reaction, or everything has a positive and negative reaction, or something like that. It's been like 4 years since I've been in high school, so I don't remember word for word, but basically every pro has a con, and in this case you're going to get those faster corner speeds, but you're going to really suffer on the straight, especially with the big straight that is going through the underpass on this track. So it's going to be really interesting to see how this one plays out. Take a look now at the championship leader of B23. Now, granted, mathematically, he could win this championship today, but we still have the drop rounds to consider, so you will never see any championship officialized until we're done at Interlagos, which is 2 weeks from now, or next week if you're in the World Elite Championship. It is a sprint weekend, so we're coming down to the very tail end of the season, which is really, it's crazy how fast time flies, man. Yeah, it's crazy how fast time flies. The big thing that made me kind of realize how fast time flies is A, we're at the penultimate round of the season here for SWT, but also I got happy birthday wishes, even though it's a day early. Which, I mean, I get it, time moves by way too fast for all of us nowadays, but still. Yeah, I mean, time flies super duper quickly, but what else flies super duper quickly is these Super Formula cars. And these things are flying down that straight, and I mean, we've seen some pretty risky overtakes in that corner, but especially during WEC, because I mean the battle with Comer, Lujan, Nuko, and others, and Alex too. I knew there was a name I was forgetting there, but yeah, it's just really chaotic through that corner. It's a good overtaking spot, but yeah. And I do apologize for a bit of the black bar. That is Sony telling me that I need to plug the controller in. But don't worry, if the controller does manage to go out, there's still a keyboard. I'm so sorry, Alex. It's been a week on my end. I do apologize for that, but I didn't forget Alex. I did not. I mean, hard to forget Alex because he would yell at me after stream if I forgot him. All jokes aside, but yeah. I mean, it's really hard to forget the amazing talent that comes through each of these different divisions. And there is a point that was made in chat that I am going to go ahead and bring up because I didn't exactly notice it because I was watching the battles. But your boy Grand has really kept that gap going. So B23 just hasn't had the same level of pace to try to catch up to Grand here. He's pulling a kind of a bit of a gap away from the other cards, but still, it's not enough to really catch him. And we're already at the halfway part of the race, so interesting. Oh, it's a spin! I was looking at chat and I see a spin there for Duckadono. I mean, I know ducks are supposed to like water, but this one is hydrophobic. Let's see what happens here. Oh, he just lost it again. Oh, he might have collected Schulte there. He might have collected Schulte. No, Schulte got away with that one. Ooh, that was close. Schulte got away with that one. He had a guardian angel right there just protecting him as he goes ahead and just makes his way into third place at the moment. So right now, I mean, for the teams that are closer to the bottom of the constructors here at SWT, this is a beautiful race for them because the team that is firmly second place in the championship is just not there at the moment. Like Kaizen Motorsports is just not here at the moment. So that is going to be very interesting to see how this plays out in terms of the championship. Speaking of that, let's go ahead and talk about the championship standings real quick. Taking a look at the standings. I mean, Hololive and High Caliber Racing are both at they're almost exactly at the bottom of the championship with 97 and 66 points for HCR, Red Bull Adidas, and Go Fast Racing. Well, I feel like some of these are... Okay, so taking a look at the standings, so there's some logos that are incorrect, so I'm sorry, it is throwing me off a bit. But High Caliber Racing is currently in fourth with 98.5 points. And then we have Hololive Racing with 66 points, currently in P6. Just out of the team Go Fast Castrol, which I don't think has actually really been here for a while, but yeah, so I mean, there's a lot of stuff that can happen here in these in this championship standings. Yeah, it's very interesting stuff here. As we're going to go on board now with Artura as he's trying to chase down Schulte to try to get those points now for Project Zero Racing. Project Zero Racing is trying to get every point that they can, same with every single team here. Just because we know that this is the penultimate round, so this is really the second to last opportunity, or second to last day that they have to score points for their team. Both these drivers are getting very close to the walls here, and that is going to be in a very intense moment there. But Artur is on an improvement now, which, I mean, kind of expected now that he's on those racing medium tires now. Going to get a fantastic draft and slipstream there from Schulte. He's going to make the pass on this ginormous straightaway, and that is the move done for P3, but Schulte is trying to close that gap up. Can he make the move happen? That's the question. They're going to go side by side into turn number one. What's going to happen here? Ooh, late on the brake. Schulte has the inside line, and he's going to hook it, but a little bit of a touch there by Arturo, although that might have been a little bit of a netcode incident. No damage on either car, so crisis has been averted. And we're actually going to go ahead and just do for the remainder of this lap, we're going to go ahead and go on board with Artura, and we will be right back. Alright, that was around an on-board lap. With Artura there, he did close the gap a little bit to Schulte, but not enough to really challenge for a move. But take a look at Ducadona. Ducadona's going to try to get a move onto Chemazure now. The two cars are having a little bit of a touch-and-go moment. The Red Bull Adidas team running a special livery for this race. At least a new updated livery. We'll actually take a look at it here. Taking a look at Ducadona's livery. It is an updated livery for the Red Bull Adidas squad. Having some pretty interesting decals. I like the little Sonic the Hedgehog that's there, but the HoloLive car is not, just because that the Red Bull Adidas car looks nice doesn't mean that the HoloLive car is going to let him go without a fight. And that's exactly what we're seeing here. Ducadono and Chemazure are really trying to battle it out now for these positions to get all these points in. And taking a look at it, B23 is now starting to make his gap, or trying to close that gap in. I think it's at the point now where the high downforce setup is not going to pay off. He does a little bit of a dummy pit, which I'm not sure if that was intentional or not. Looks like a dummy pit stop, but doesn't look like that was intentional by any stretch. But Artura makes a pit stop. That's a really interesting case. I'm curious to see why Artura made a pit. Huh. Intermediates again for Artura. Huh. I mean, your boy Grant's tires are about that time. See, some drivers actually switch back to the inters. Yeah, some drivers are switching to the intermediate. So what we're going to do in the meantime is we're going to go and take a look at the radar. Let's take a look at the radar here, ladies and gentlemen. Take a look at the radius. Let's go ahead and see how everything is going to go ahead and play out in terms of the weather. That was 30 minutes ago, and it was dry for a bit. Oh, let's see. Where's that rain at? Oh, it's here. The rain is here already. And yeah, look at that. It is. Oh, and that's a good time. That's a good frame to come back on. That's a good frame to come back on. Your boy Grant. Let's see if we can even get a replay of that. I don't think so. Oh, we can get a replay of that. Beautiful. Oh, yeah. He kind of hit the wall there. A little bit of a wall right there, and then he becomes a Super Formula Beyblade like we talked about earlier. Those racing softs. Soft tires are super grippy, but when it comes to these wet conditions, and oh, B23 was off in the back too. Oh, B33 is still trying to get turned around. His race just went from bad to worse. Yeah, once again, there he is. He just goes round and round we go like a merry-go-round. His race just went from bad to worse. And Nemesis did a really good thing. I was actually really questioning that strategy from the get-go. Like, why would you put on the inters? But sure enough, that rain really hit. We come back, the rain hits, and the big spin into the wall for your boy Grant and B23. But your boy Grant didn't lose any positions off of it. So your boy Grant is in a really good spot to getting a name change of your boy Winner. Or your Winner Grant, something like that. But that is insane. I do appreciate the Spinella counter in chat. Yeah, so far we've had 3. Well, actually, technically 2. We've had 2 other from Ducadono, but in this instance, definitely 3. So yeah, I mean, a lot of these drivers are now just like... And Ducadono's still on those mediums, but he is almost... Oh, he is actually braving down the mediums for Ducadono, the Dutch driver for Red Bull Adidas. Trying to brave out the elements, which I'm not sure is the best idea. Yeah, that's a bit of a questionable strat. Interesting. Anyway, back to the front of the field. Yeah, your boy Grant is up at the front. I mean, your boy Grant is doing, he's got 11-second gap, so this is going to be a really interesting podium. If this stays the way it is, because, I mean, I'm pretty sure that the only podium finisher out of this group that, I mean, not counting sprints, would be Arturo. Arturo would be the only repeat podium finisher here. Your boy Grand, I don't think has been on a podium yet, and I think Schulte was only on the podium in one of the sprints, if I remember correctly. Actually, I'm gonna go fact check that. I'm gonna go ahead and check myself real quick on that one. So yeah, taking a look at the previous round. Actually, I will go ahead and correct myself. None of these drivers have been on the podium yet this season. So none of these drivers have been on the podium yet this season. So this would be a huge boost to their points. I mean, this would be the opposite of a drop round for all three of these drivers. These would be these would go on their highlight reels as in terms of a strategy masterclass for them. But B23, we know that B23 has the pace. We know that he is a very rapid driver. But he's had some mistakes earlier on. He got caught out by the rain, definitely. But we're going to see if he can get past Kemazure here. He's got the speed, he's got the pace, and he's got the smoothness, and he's got the move done. Going into the last corner to go ahead and make his way down the expressway, coming down the exit of turn number 12. And now is it going to be a drag race. But actually, let's take a look at some overtake. So B23 has a fair amount of overtake. Schulte is about out of overtake, and Arturo has a little bit more, and your boy Grand is about out of overtake. So B23 by far has the most overtake of these drivers, but Kemazure is going to go and rocket on past. Kemazure up into P4 at the moment. I accidentally went to the wrong camera, so we'll see this pass sticks, and then we'll take a look at it. Let's see if we can take a look at that pass once again. I know that was actually a really bad time for that, but yep, sure enough, he got the pass done and situated. Let's try to go ahead and get a look at that pass going into the corner now. Okay, yep, so they're side by side going into this corner. B23 is going deep, and he just hooks it on the inside, and he goes for it, but Kemazure did have a little bit of a wiggle there. So that was how B23 did take that spot. Yeah, so let's just go ahead and see how the rest of this one plays out. This is the closest battle on track at the moment. B23 is trying to push hard. He wants to at least get back to the podium, but he's got his work cut out for him. He needs to chew off about 7 seconds in about 6-ish laps. So let's just go ahead and see how this one does play out. Scott was actually able to get that replay, so we didn't miss that pass. So good to know. So now they're going to go ahead and back on the start-finish straight now. Do the expressway. They're about to come up to the tunnel. The big dry patch on the track, and the track is now fully dry for them. So they're going to burn out those tires a bit. And you can see the sparks flying from Kemazure. And we see from B23 as well, the floor just scraping there, creating a fantastic light show. Kemazure gets the lead. Or he gets the lead at least in this battle. And these two are going to make a massive drag race. Kemazure will need that inside line, which B23 has at the moment. B23 is going to be laying on the brakes, a little bit of contact, forcing Kemazure to go wide, and B23 will retake that spot. If you have the inside line going into that corner, into the first set of corners, turns 1, 2, and 3, then you pretty much got that move done and dusted. Yeah, so I mean, at this point now, I mean, while B23 does have some pace, he's got Kemazure behind. That's the car he's really need to. Well, Kemazure behind is going to really try to create a problem for B23 because he knows his teammate is in the lead of this race, so he may be trying to do everything that he can to make it super easy for his teammate to really just walk away with this one. He has lost a minor bit of time to Artura, but not enough to really make an overall dent as Ducadono does come into the pits. He's finally going to shed those medium tires, as he did get lapped. But we're going to see if, yeah, he's going to go into the intermediates to the surprise of no one. But now we're going to head back to Kemazure and B23, and I think now this is when B23 really turns off the afterbirds and just starts running away with this one. Or at least running towards Schulte up ahead. But this would be a first podium for Schulte, at least of the season. But I think it's actually since his time in GPL. So the Canadian driver looking to score a first podium. So this is going to be really interesting to see if how much these drivers can really catch up. We are down to 3 laps left to go now on this Grand Prix here for the penultimate round of SWT, and it looks like we're going to have an all-new podium, which is always fantastic to see, especially in a racing series as competitive as the Grand Prestige League. So be sure to go ahead and drop a like, comment, subscribe, turn on notifications if you are new here. And that way you won't miss any of the fantastic racing that we have here today. We have 2 more races left of the Super Formula season. Technically we have 4 because we have sprints, but we got 2 more rounds left to go. One for WEC, which is next week, and then the final round for SWT the week after. And it is going to be insane. And I mean, yeah, I could kind of see it. We're on the penultimate lap now, and your boy Grand, he has just been dominant and just comes alive, and he has been having a fantastic race. And actually, the team in general, the Hololive Racing team, which Hololive is still battling it out with Exa Rapide there. I mean, it's so hard to keep a position when you got a car within a second behind you, but I mean, B23 is just not having the race he would have wanted. I think that early incident really kind of threw a wrench into the works for the American driver. Kemazure is going to try to go deep, and it's American versus American as Kemazure goes to put the hammer down. But B23 will lead coming out of these corners. It is a purple sector, though, so he might have a chance of getting the fastest lap. B23 might have a chance of getting the fastest lap of this race. And that is true. B23 does have a lot of overtake remaining, so he could put pedal to the metal and really try to burn it all. But I don't think he's going to really catch Schulte, though. I think Schulte, unless Schulte has a mistake, I think Schulte's got that position done and dusted. And Kemazure now is putting so much pressure on the EXO ahead. I'm actually pleasantly surprised, I will say, because I love seeing every driver get really competitive, especially from teams that haven't really had the most competitive of seasons, like this Hololive team. They haven't had the best of season, but in the penultimate round, they've really just come alive. You have Kemazure battling with the championship leader at the moment of B23, and then you have the other Hololive in the lead of this race by 13 seconds, as now we're on the final lap of the race. We're going to take a look now at, actually no, that's not really a close gap, so really the only close battle here is between B23 and Kemazure, but I think B23 is really going to pull away with this one, now that he's really broken that slipstream element. I mean, at this point, this would be a drop round for B23 though, so he's still going to do the best he can for that little bit of extra pride, as we're going to head on board now for the remainder of the lap with the driver that nobody really had expected to see to win here. We were not expecting this driver to basically take a grand slam here. He got second place. He was pretty high up there. I think it was second place or third place. Oop, I apologize. That's a bit of a blue screen. Unfortunately there, I hit the wrong button on my keyboard. Massive apologies there, folks. But he's coming around the last few corners now. He's got to put pedal to the metal. A little bit of a wiggle there for your boy Grant, but it doesn't matter. He just got the straight road ahead now. Let's go ahead and see how good is he going to do. Well, we all know the answer to that one. Your boy Grand, he's coming down the straight now. He is into the tunnel and into victory lane. Your boy Grand is a winner here in GPL for the first time this season. A driver that nobody expected to win here takes a dominant victory in SWT. I think the biggest gap of the season by 14.5 seconds. Arturo comes across the line in P2. Duckendono will finish a lap down. Schulte will take a first podium in his GPL career, and that's going to be a big one. So it is a all brand new podium. B23 gave it as much as he could, but was only able to muster a fourth. Chemisher will come home in P5, and Killswitch, being the last driver on track, will come home. As he's got a bit of suspension damage there. He's going to try to just go ahead and do nothing but bring it home. He's on the soft tire, so that might explain a few things, but it is, yeah, I believe it's all fresh podiums. Well, at least for this season, I will say. It's fresh podiums for the season. And Killswitch is going to go ahead and put Peltometto. He's in the dry part of the track now. The car is basically held together by duct tape, but he is bringing it home. And that is the race done and dusted for everybody here today. Your boy Grant's still getting the fastest lap, so he'll take home maximum points today. And your winner is this man right here. Your boy Grand takes the win. We're going to go ahead and take a look at our final standings real quick before we go ahead and close off the stream for today. We have your boy Grand, who wins by a pretty good margin. And so it is your boy Grand, followed by Nemesis, aka Artura, Schulte, B23, Chemisher, Killswitch, and Duckendono, rounding out the grid, being a lap down. Well, thank you guys so much for tuning on in. I hope you guys had a great time, because I know I certainly did. And tune in next time when we head to Interlagos for the final round of the season. Take care, everyone, and have a good night.